I'd now like to introduce a very special guest, the Lion-Lee and luminary Leigton De Barros, filmmaker and Emmy Award winner, who is going to announce his next project with PAFTA, a very exciting project, and show us some footage.
I didn't win an Emmy Award, we were nominated, so... But that, you get that? Yes. So it's been a wonderful evening and fantastic listening to everybody speak. I'm a bit embarrassed talking about Wales after Darren and Lee's thing. But you get that. It's fantastic listening to everybody's involvement. I'm a wildlife cinematographer. I started off doing marine photography, specialising in whales and dolphins, and built my portfolio up to end up working for the BBC Natural History Unit. Worked on some Attenborough films, fair bit of stuff for Nat Geo and Discovery. Now we're producing our own stuff. The first one was Whale Patrol, which I'll show you a clip from, which was a fantastic film, I think, because it told the story of the migration up here. And it's also it's the welfare of the animals and the welfare of the people saving those whales. Then we made On a Wing and a Prayer, which was about the black cockatoos, and that was a fantastic film because we got to spend 6 months on a farm learning about the black cockatoos and becoming part of their sort of little neighbourhood. But it was sad too, because one of the jobs we went undercover and we filmed the guy shooting him, and it was just horrible. But it was a pretty strong sequence, and it brought to light the things that are going on out there. We've just produced a film on killer whales and great white sharks, which is a fantastic story on our south coast. And we're just finishing off a 6-part series on birds, which will be really fun. And it's with William McInnes, and he's a really funny guy. And while it's a bit light-hearted, it's still got a conservation message, but a bit of fun. So hopefully that'll work. And then we've got this next project, which I've been really working hard on getting up and going. But what I'll do is I'll show you an excerpt from Whale Patrol. I don't know if anybody's seen it. It was many moons ago, but it's pretty dramatic stuff. There's no music. It's all live sound and footage. And this is what, we're very proud of our whale rescue team here, because these men and women risk their lives to save these whales. So have a Captain Cook, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Boyd, let's have a look. Look at the sunburn on the top of him. He's been here a few days, Doug. Okay, he's coming to the surface now. I'm going to move us forward, Doug.
What we can do is organise the pole cam. I've got that. Okay, so did you connect the helmet now?
Shall we have a look? Absolutely, we're going to have a look. We'll both have a look. Oh, it does go through the peduncle, mate, right through the bloody fluke, right through the middle of it, look.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. I think that's the wait.
Oh, no. We just need to be careful here, guys.
Just keep some tension on there, John. We're having a really good look here.
This one here is wrapped around the right side of the rear tail fluke.
Yep.
We've got one wrap around the peduncle. Okay, so you've got one on both sides.
Going again.
You've got one on both sides. So we've got virtually like this cutting in, right? Then we've got the buoys coming up like this, Doug. Right?
Yep.
The line seems to be attached to the buoys and goes like this. It's got a big...
So what we need to determine, Rick, is which line is running to the pot, which is holding it, and that one we stay away from.
That certainly is the line, and they're all orange.
So that's the one we...
At this stage. Okay.
Now that's the one running on the left fluke.
It appears...
That's the one I'm really worried about. If we cut that and that's the one going straight to the pot, all of a sudden we'll lose attention to the pot.
So you reckon if we cut that?
No, I reckon cut here and here.
That's what I reckon too.
Yeah, cut here and here, and then it'll all shift, there's no doubt about that. When it settles, if it doesn't all come away, we then tackle that.
This whale's been fighting this rope, and the rope's been chafing its skin, and there's the water column is full of skin flakes, and I can see fish and even a little shark feeding on those skin flakes.
Using a long-handled, razor-sharp knife in a bouncing inflatable is risky. And from the surface, it's hard to see where best to cut. So Doug puts his head right under the water, where he can see exactly what he's doing. They've freed the whale. But for some reason, it doesn't move off.
It's done a typical stall. Once all the weight came off and it's just hung there in the column, not realising that it's now free. Pretty typical for an animal that's been entangled for multiple hours. It looks pretty well done as far as fatigue goes, but its chances of survival now are just as good as it was before it was entangled. It looks like it's just kicked back into migration mode. They're wired to migrate north and it's on its way.
So there's a lot of issues still with entanglements. So off the top of my head, I went out and filmed some with Doug this year. I think 24, 25 whales were seen with entanglements, and they rescued 5. So that means there's 15 out there still with entanglements on them, which means a long, slow and painful death. So Doug and his team worked very hard to rescue the whales. He's working with the fishing industry very strongly to negate the effects of the entanglements, but I got to form a very close friendship and bond with Doug, and so so what we're trying to do is Doug's responsible for training all whale rescue teams in the Southern Hemisphere. And that includes New Zealand, it includes the east coast of Australia, some training in South Africa and the South Pacific countries. So we were talking with Doug about making this whale rescue training simulator. So basically, he can't spread himself too thin. And via the simulator, people could get into life and death situations and learn what to do. So it's been a real struggle to get funding for this thing. So what we're going to do is have a crowdfunding event with the Perth Advocates. They're very good and they're pushing it along, which is really helpful. And what we're going to do is our next film is going to be a ripper, hopefully, and we're going to the breeding grounds and we're going to try for the first time to film a female giving birth with high-def starlight cameras. So we're teeing that up with national and international broadcasters, so we hope to be going next year. On that trip, we'll release this simulator and we'll release it to the public. Doug will then go to the International Whaling Commission, who's part of a special group there, and we'll try and get funding for it so the thing can be used in the actual by the professionals, and then we hope to release an educational game a serious game it's called, to educate kids. So what I'll do is I'll leave it at that, and we'll give it a crack, and we'll let you know what's going on with the fundraising thing, which is in a couple of months and so forth. And I'll just show you a clip from, it's called Birthplace of the Giants. Marjorie's seen it before, so don't fall asleep. It's all good. And I forgot to say, for the first time, we're actually going to webcast the expedition live. So for 2 weeks, we'll broadcast live, hopefully, on the web and hopefully on the network that picks it up. And then if we can get the female going to labour and giving birth, we'll go for 24 hours live, so people can see that for the first time. We'll have a live study guide for kids to do via the Australian Teachers and Media, so it should be quite an event in theory. But we'll let you know how it goes. All right, thanks.